As he attempts to become only the fourth featherweight champion to ascend to the lightweight crown, he's trying to join three of the greatest names in the history of the sport. Tony Canzoneri, Henry Armstrong, Alexis Arguello, all of them legends. Jorge Paez's competitive record, 37 wins, 3 losses, 4 draws. The 26 knockouts demonstrate that as a featherweight in particular, he had knockout power.
And one of those victories, the one he won for the championship 3 years ago, the last time a 15-round championship fight was held.
And to comment on Paez's hairstyle, we bring in our own in-house expert on state-of-the-art scalp decoration, George Foreman. George, is that Saturn or a haircut?
I can tell you one thing. He's got applause from me.
I think...
I'd like to know who come up with that idea.
Yeah, I think Edward Scissorhands has become a boxing fan.
And as Paez cavorts in the ring, the champion, Pernell Whitaker, begins to make his way. The third defense of the undisputed lightweight title. Of course, there were defenses prior to that of the belts that he won before he became the first man since Roberto Duran in the 70s to unify the 135-pound weight class.
Does this mean we have 2 purple people eaters? I don't think I've ever seen 2 fighters wearing purple at the same time. I guess they both think they're royalty.
What's the name of the music in plays tonight?
Seem to be about evenly split between the champion and the challenger. There are many Mexican Americans and Mexicans who have made the trip here to root for Paez. Whitaker's record 26-1-0, the only loss to Jose Luis Ramirez in his first shot at the title. He later avenged that loss with a 12-round whitewash of Ramirez. And the only loss in a championship fight was that first decision loss to Ramirez in Paris, France, a fight that all of Pernell's supporters believe that he had actually won. Dale of the tape, and you can see that the 2 fighters are relatively similar in size. Whitaker a couple of inches taller with 3 inches more reach.
And here are our fight stat numbers. We can see that Whitaker is the busier of the 2 fighters. Paez is an accurate puncher. However, here are the jabs, and from there you can see that Paez would rather be shot out of a cannon at his circus than throw a jab, while Whitaker starts everything from his jab.
HBO scorer Harold Letterman brings us the rules.
Jorge Paez and Pernell Whitaker will fight tonight using a combination of the rules of the IBF, the WBA, and the WBC. 3 judges scoring the fight on a 10-point must system. No standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule, and you can only be saved by the belt in the last round only. And Jim, we want to remember that since Jorge Paez does get cut easily, if the cut is caused by an accidental headbutt and that cut causes the fight to be stopped, the fight is a technical draw before the 3rd round has ended, or a technical decision in favor of whoever is ahead on the scorecards after the 3rd round.
So the end of the 3rd round is the deadline for technical draw on a fight stopped by cut. Right now, let's go up to ring announcer Michael Buffer for the pre-fight introduction.
Ladies and gentlemen, Main Events Monitor and the Reno Sparks Convention and Visitors Authority, in association with the undisputed, undefeated king of beer, Budweiser, present the featured bout of the evening. This bout is sanctioned by the International Boxing Federation, President Robert W. Lee, Supervisor at ringside, Bob Weitzel. The World Boxing Association, President Dr. Gilberto Mendoza, Supervisor in attendance, Santiago Chicas. The World Boxing Council, President Jose Suleiman, Supervisor in attendance, Hector Garcia. It is also sanctioned and approved by the Nevada State Athletic Commission, Chairman Luther Matt. Commissioners Dr. Elias Ghanem, Nat Carastali, Dr. James Nave, and Bruce Lane. The Executive Director is Chuck Minker. The scoring for this bout will be done on a 10-point must system, and the judges are Chuck Jampa, Patricia Jarman, and Keith McDonald. Our physicians in attendance are Dr. James McLennan, Dr. John Whitman, Dr. Craig Goodmanson, and Dr. Joseph Heflin. The timekeepers, Jim Carpenter and John Rogers. And when the bell rings, ladies and gentlemen, the man in charge of all the action, the referee, working for the 54th time in a World Championship bout, is Mills Lane. And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the biggest little city in the world, Reno, Nevada, let's get ready to rumble! 12 rounds of boxing for the undisputed lightweight championship of the world. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the purple sequin trunks, weighing an even 135 pounds, his professional record, 39 victories, 26 by KO, 3 defeats and 4 draws. He's ranked as the #1 lightweight challenger in the world. Amos y caballeros, con Mexicali, Mexico, the former featherweight champion of the world, Jorge Paez. And his opponent in the blue corner, wearing the purple trunks with black trim, also weighing an even 135 pounds. This 1984 Olympic gold medal champion has a professional record of 26 victories, only 1 defeat, 13 KOs. He's from Norfolk, Virginia. Ladies and gentlemen, the undisputed lightweight champion of the world, Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker.
Look, if he goes right there, I'm not going to call it low, all right? Now, you've had all your instructions in the dressing room for the championship of the world. That's a tough, clean fight. Protect yourself at all times. Any questions here? No. Any questions? Let's get it on. Come on.
Jim, unequivocally, I like the guy in the purple trunks and the purple shoes.
I think you're safe, unless Prince shows up. One of these two guys is going to win. Well, you had the characteristic "Let's get ready to rumble" of Michael Bumper. You got "Let's get it on" from Mills Lane, and there's the bell.
You got to understand, these are the most frightening moments of a boxing match. Crowd are walking up in those steps, then getting in there before the first punches land.
Now, what can Whitaker do in round 1, George, to try to be sure that he gets into a boxing match rather than a brawl?
You train months and months. You spar. You try to establish the same thing you've done in the gym. You move in the directions you want. Constantly create that atmosphere you had in the sparring session. Looks to me that he's done it.
So far, this is the same Whitaker we saw against Anthony Baby Jones and Poli Diaz, the flat-footed, careful-stepping power puncher that he wants to be.
And in a sparring session, what never happens is your sparring partner jumps out on you and attacks you. Wow. That's why you need to do that in a boxing match to get the other guy off guard. Do something different.
A wild right hand by Paez goes clear over Whitaker's head. Mills Lane tells Pernell Whitaker not to push Paez to the canvas on the back of the neck.
Whitaker's starting to jab to the body early.
And Paez begins to flail to the body, and he got one in.
Which is important. If you know that this fight may go 12 rounds, whoever gets in the better body punches earlier is going to have an easier night. Whitaker tries to retaliate by going back to the body.
Whitaker coming straight up the middle, and so far able to stop Paez's charges with hard punches right to the face.
There were some pre-fight discussions about Paez keeping his right hand extended without throwing it. It's a dangerous thing to do because a lot of fighters run into that and get hurt without even punch being thrown.
Again, Whitaker puts the back of his arm on the back of Paez's neck, and Mills Lane with another discussion. They touch gloves, and here we go. Less than a minute in round 1.
Started to reach his hand behind his back and do some clowning Whitaker did earlier. Hard to be with a clown and not clown, you know?
Do you think it's any specific problem for Paez fighting a southpaw, or is he so unconventional that it doesn't much matter?
I think these guys are so well experienced. It doesn't matter what they do for a southpaw in position. Whitaker is so quick, at least previously. It didn't matter where his feet were. He can throw good punches, man.
Whitaker lands an uppercut.
Paez is going to have to keep his right foot on the outside of Pernell Whitaker.
Another hard left-hand uppercut from Whitaker, and that is the one punch that he said in our meeting yesterday. Round one coming to a close. And as we go to the corner of Jorge Paez, we'll welcome a new addition to the HBO boxing coverage team. Serving as our interpreter in Paez's corner, former world welterweight champion Carlos Palomino.
Both hands. Use both hands. Go to the body with both hands. Trata de sorprenderlo con ese tipo de jab. Try to surprise him with your jab. And the right hand over the top. Right foot right down the middle with the right hand.
Just keep doing what you're doing. Now listen, you know the little circle you're making? Keep making your circles. This way, that way. Don't back up from it. You understand? See, and keep your jab going, keep your jab going. Now when you don't see nothing to hit, when you don't see nothing to hit, you know where we're going. We're going on those damn wings, right? Just keep it moving.
Both corners asking for the jab. I think that's because they really haven't worked out the geometry between them. The first round was a feeling out round. Already we see a little more quickness on the part of Paez to open this round.
Who only threw 17 punches, according to PunchStat in round number one. But there's an uppercut from Paez that landed and is probably his most effective punch so far. Here comes Whitaker with the left-hand uppercut. Why does he think that punch can be so effective?
He's been told not to back up. And, of course, the only way you can land effectively a good uppercut is by backing up. Now, what Paez has got to realize, he is not truly backing up. He's circling him. And when you cross those feet, walking like you're down the street, you're going to get hit. The idea is, know the guy's making a circle. Don't cross your legs. You're going to get hit. And he's doing it.
Paez coming forward. Whitaker trying to pick him off with the jab and follow with the uppercut.
Good body punch. Pernell Whitaker is establishing his power early.
And after the body punch, he rung the bell with the left hand.
The idea he's trying to do, as he stated earlier, is to keep his hands on Paez at all times. Whether it's a hard punch or not a punch, keep touching.
Solid left hand from Whitaker. Paez momentarily stunned.
Come on.
Again, Mills Lane talks to Whitaker about holding Paez at the back of the head.
Paez seems to have so much confidence, weighs in whether he gets hit or not.
The right hand by Paez was blocked by a glove.
All right, get back.
George Paez is going to have to be busier than this if he's going to bother Pernell.
Pernell Whitaker is dynamic, which means even when he's standing still, there's some motion that you can't even hardly notice. And it makes you off balance. You think, if I throw, I'm going to miss. He's going to hit me. After about 5 rounds, you'll see Paez decide, hey, I don't care whether I miss or not, I'm going to throw punches. Boy, what a great body punch. Left hook to the body. He can land 5 or 6 of those. He can have an easy night. That body punch is still hurting Pernell Whitaker. Left hook to the body.
And a right hand sneaks through the guard of Pernell Whitaker, so Paez is beginning to step up the aggression. When Whitaker lands a right and continues to hold his ground when he stops and punches.
Interesting, Whitaker decides to back straight up. He thinks about what his corner told him, go in a circle, and he stops.
Good right hand lead by Paez. Tries it again, and this time it's blocked. Left hand by Paez landed. In the last 30 seconds of round 2, Jorge Paez picked up the pace.
I thought that was a pretty good round for Paez. One thing I've been curious about, Paez, as a former featherweight, is used to fighting quick opponents. And of course, in Whitaker, he has a quick opponent. Right hand, the one to go the right hand over the top. Keep throwing it. Breathe. Left hook to the top. Got his right hand low, so go over the hook. Over the hook.
Hit him around the hip. Hit him on the wings, right? So now just, as you know, just See, be circling around him. He won't think that you're in close. Okay. You just be moving around, but you're right up close to him. See? Closing up to smell his
Let's get a look at the quickness of Paez with that sneak roundhouse right hand. Lands flush on Whitaker. If Whitaker's going to stand still, he's going to catch some of those punches.
Paez has yet to throw a conventional jab in the fight, and he may not throw one. And now he comes in with the roundhouse rights again. If he can put some body punching with that, George, he might do some business.
This is what I said earlier. The one thing that Pernell Whitaker didn't have in his training camp, sparring partners to go wild on him. And this is why you got to get in there and go wild on your opponent to make him panic.
Come on, down.
You get in there and do what his sparring partners have been doing. He's just going to have the same night as he has with his sparring partners. Whitaker is going to have to decide, am I going to box and move tonight or am I going to fight? You're not going to be able to do both of them with this guy.
As you look at Paez's forays, you might remember that Whitaker had a little bit of trouble in the first 5 rounds against a thoroughly unconventional, almost amateurish-looking Oli Diaz. Sometimes if you are a very disciplined conventional fighter, the wild guy can give you trouble.
That's right, because you can't get set. You don't know what they're going to do. If you duck to the left, he may just scratch you. You don't know what's going to happen.
And Pernell Whitaker's handlers don't like the fact that Paez keeps his left glove open and slaps at opponents to hold them out of the way.
It's a dangerous thing. Eventually you can have a swollen eye and not even be an effective punch to do it.
Good exchange in the middle of the ring, both men landing.
Paez seems to be so strong. Good lead right hand.
He's landed the right-hand lead several times since he found it in the middle of round 2. Now the left land.
Get back on the rope. Here we go. Come on, here we go. Come on.
Whitaker may have to decide, I've got to fight. And I don't think he's made a decision yet. When he does, to change things. But right now, he's playing around a little too much.
Well, he seems at his best when he decides to occupy Paez to the body. That's the best stratagem for stopping Paez from coming in.
He's going to have to sit there and fight this guy. Otherwise, this guy's going to walk him down all night.
It seems, George, that if Pernell goes headhunting, Paez is perfectly willing to exchange punch for punch with him.
Not only so, but he's an acrobat. He's never off balance.
There's the right hand by Paez. Whitaker lands the left.
Paez keeps chopping away with that right hand lead. Which is the only way to fight a southpaw. You keep feeding right hands, whether you hit them or not. Just keep throwing it because it throws them out.
Whitaker's jab is starting to shorten up. A Paez left landed flush on Whitaker's face. As round 3 comes to a close, Pernell Whitaker is no longer extending the right jab fully.
Well, that's about as much action as I've ever seen in a Pernell Whitaker fight.
That's the thing. Keep that up. You got me covered? I see it. Okay. Now listen. Every time he starts to fight in that head, just give him a little dip, and come back with them 3s and 4s, right? Working like a chair. Looking like a chair. And keep it going. And don't get careless and don't get cute, right? Stay down to business.
This is an example of what happens when a runner turns into a stand-up fighter. He's there to be hit, and he's there to hit more combinations. From another angle, good body shot, takes a right hand in return.
So you have a very intriguing fight now as we go to round number 4. Paez still has not thrown a conventional jab in the fight. Pernell Whitaker has thrown 108 of them, but his connect percentage is way down at 20%. He's used to landing half those jabs.
The thing I noticed, Mo, that Paez is doing what he's supposed to do. Whitaker hasn't decided yet what he wants to do. He's doing a combination. His strategies are not set. Sometimes he punches, sometimes he moves.
And Paez got away with some holding and hitting there for about 5 full seconds. He held Pernell's head.
Paez Paez is trying to coast a bit. He's throwing away a lot of energy. There you coast. Go for a good punch.
Left hand landed inside for Whitaker. Now he tries to go back to the body. George, between rounds in Paez's corner, they asked him to keep going forward. They said Whitaker doesn't like to back up.
That's true. Not to back up, but he likes moving to the circling. Whitaker, as you notice, he'll take 3 steps backwards and then he'll circle. And when you back him up, he panics and he goes straight back.
Paez with the roundhouse whacks at the ribs and the temple. Landed 1 or 2.
Whitaker got hurt with a good left hook to the body. Been 2 left hooks tonight that really hurt Pernell Whitaker. He's a great fighter, but he's going to have to fight tonight.
And as this continues, Whitaker is in no position to jab and use the boxing skills that ought to be his edge.
He's using his elbow and he's doing the things that weightlifters do. They try to use their strength. Well, it's not an easy thing to tell lightweights to go messing around with weight.
But they're a lightweight.
Minutes to go in round number 4. A consummate boxer, Pernell Whitaker, getting into more and more of a brawl against a Jorge Paez who appears to have adjusted easily to Whitaker's early dominance with the jab and body punch.
That's right. He's turned the fight into the kind of fight he won. He's landing punches. Whitaker's strong, but the chin is the same chin that was an Olympian.
And we might find out tonight just how much punching power Pernell Whitaker has, because he's getting the chance to land shots inside.
Believe me, he can punch. But he's going to have to establish to this guy, I'm not running from you. About Whitaker, he's missing a very necessary part. Lou Duva is not in camp.
Lou Duva watching in Houston. Pernell Whitaker treading water against Jorge Paez in Reno.
Keep the pressure up just the same way you were doing. Don't wait so long. Breathe deep. You didn't throw any jabs. I want you to throw some jabs. Close your eyes. Harold Letterman, how do you score it so far?
Larry, 39-37, 3 rounds to 1 favor Pernell Whitaker. You know, you score fights based on effective aggressiveness, and for the first 3 rounds, I thought what Jorge Paez was doing was ineffective aggressiveness, moving forward, not landing shots. In the 4th round, he started to get in some good shots, and Pernell started to grab. If Paez keeps backing him up, Paez can win this fight.
Let's take a look. Whitaker seems to like it in there and thinks he's stronger than Paez. And Harold, I averaged 3 rounds to 1 also, but I gave the 2nd round to Paez.
But the last 3 of them have been close rounds, gentlemen. No way of knowing what's on the official scorecards here in Reno.
Whitaker can never get established with his jab. He can take this fight over, but he can't seem to get enough room to get it going.
Well, it's hard to establish the jab when the guy is right up in your clavicle all the time.
No, you get on your toes and you start skipping around. Skipping. You skip.
That was the old Pernell Whitaker.
Boy, it was another good left hook and right to the body.
Now Paez begins to come up the middle of Whitaker's defense. So after 4 rounds of roundhouse stuff, now it's Paez with short, straight punches.
Time you can't be ashamed to get in there and move around. Just start running for a while. It's like riding a horse to hold on to the horn on that saddle. You shouldn't be ashamed of it.
Good uppercut from Whitaker. 3 or 4 punches landed. Now Paez with another right hand to the head of Whitaker. They are exchanging punches at close quarters, with both men landing frequently.
Pernell Whitaker's a sharp puncher.
George, if you're in Paez's corner, are you totally happy with this slugfest so far?
Yes, it's definitely his fight. He doesn't want this fight to go any other way. He wants to scratch, make the guy lean in and bump with him. Eventually, both will have a scar or 2 on their face.
And if you're in Whitaker's corner, you would ask him to get up more on his toes.
Yeah, move on your toes. Jab this guy. Hit him when you want to. When you don't want to hit him, don't be hit. When Whitaker is coasting, he's taking a punch. See?
Paez has a good chin. When he's in trouble, it is because he is cut. It is seldom because he's been knocked crouching.
When Whitaker takes a rest, he gets hit. He should take a rest by being at least 3 feet from the guy. I would tell him to hold the guy to step 4 feet back, make the guy walk to him.
Grueling exchanges in the center of the ring. No more
that body punch by Whitaker hurt.
He's landed several heavy body blows.
Good right to the body of Paez.
George, stop the presses. I think I just saw an attempted jab by Paez.
Round 5 coming to a close. Pernell Whitaker lands one right-hand uppercut right on the button to punctuate the round. But Jorge Paez continues to pressure Whitaker all over the ring. And Larry, let's bring in Lou Duva down in Houston to get his reflection on what's going on so far. Lou, what do you see?
Well, I'd like to see Pernell establish his jab a little more, but his body punches are getting to Paez. Paez will be wearing down pretty soon. And those little uppercuts which George Benton has taught him are coming into zone right now. He's starting to get to Paez. It's just a matter of, I don't want him to go into the fight right now and fight his fight. There's still 7 rounds to go. There's a long way to go for this here fight.
Lou, do you see this fight resembling the last fight in which he fought an awkward fighter, and along about the middle of the fight, he started to have it his own way?
No, I mean, Paez is a much better fighter than Diaz ever was. And he's starting to put a lot of pressure on Pernell. That's the only way he's trying to get him to do is break up his battle plan. As long as Pete does what he's supposed to do, he'll win this fight.
Lou, what's the name of that restaurant again?
Nino's.
George will be there very soon. Round 6 begins. The comments of Lou Duva, recovering from heart bypass surgery down in Houston. He has our best wishes as he continues that process.
The thing about Paez pressing in, I don't think he understands the true punching power that Pernell Whitaker has. He can hit, not put you to sleep.
Well, but Paez knows more about it than anybody in the building right now, George, and he does not seem to be phased.
But he hasn't landed, or he hasn't turned one punch over yet upstairs. Got some good body punches in, but when he turns them over, somebody's going to go to sleep. You can disrespect the guy, but be careful.
This has been a big first minute of round number 6 for Whitaker, who's very accurate with the uppercut and has temporarily stopped Paez from punching. Crowd picks up the steam a little bit.
Now Paez is clowning because he couldn't do anything else. Whitaker should not stop and start to clown with him.
George Benton asked Pernell Whitaker between rounds to stay on his toes and try to find jabbing opportunities, just as Lou Duva suggested he wanted to.
You try to get at least 3 feet from the guy and have to have him walk to you, then punch. There you are. After you throw your combination, you get you established at 3 feet distance again.
Solid left to the body by Whitaker, and he tried to come with the right hand up top, and it was blocked. These uppercuts are landing, though, George.
The uppercuts are landing, and they hurt. And eventually, they take a lot out of your chin. Affects your knees. Paez is using his elbows really good. That's the only way to protect yourself from a good southpaw. Use your elbows.
This is about the point in the Foley-Diaz fight when, as Larry Merchant pointed out, it became target practice for Whitaker, and he's been much more accurate in this round than in the 3 that preceded it.
Keeping that distance. Keep that distance. Make the other guy walk to you, then hit him. One-sided punch by Paez.
And a set of a left hand to the head that he landed as well.
Paez is no pushover.
If you're Paez, you go back to the body now, right?
You just get wild again. The only way to get, you just can't fight this guy out the guy. Go right at him.
Another booming uppercut up the middle for Whitaker. And we're halfway through the bout. Paez, trouble with the left eye, Larry.
Yeah, he caught a punch or perhaps an inadvertent finger, and now he's bleeding from the right eye, from the corner of the right eye. He is a bleeder, and he knew it almost instantly.
We should point out immediately that Paez has finished and won a lot of fights in which he was badly cut.
Tú eres más rápido que eso, vamos, transfórmese como usted dijo que arriba vamos a ganar, ¿ok? Búscalo abajo y remátalo arriba, como está más lento que tú.
Go after him, go after him. You're quicker than he is, throw a right hand. They didn't see the butt. They think it was a headbutt. Let's see if we can find out what it was, whether it was a butt or a punch. Now, it was right there. I thought it was a punch, but I can't be sure. But when a fight with both fighters standing in this close, that's always a possibility.
Brought a punch. The ref didn't pay any attention to it, so there's no need talking about it.
And Paez is wincing again.
Generally, you do that when it's a bust.
Paez goes wild. A burst of energy following the cut for the right eyelid. And now Whitaker plants a straight right on the face of Paez. The blood is going to flow. Intentional headbutt. So apparently Mills Lane saw it, even though we couldn't on the replay. Harold Letterman, what are the implications of the unintentional headbutt?
Jim, if the fight is stopped because of the cut, we go to the scorecards and it becomes a technical decision. So if the fight is stopped because of this headbutt, we will go to the scorecards to determine the winner.
Regardless of the round in which the fight is
correct.
stopped.
If legal punches make the cut worse and the fight is stopped in later rounds, we will go to the scorecards.
Very important that Whitaker stay ahead on points with this thing.
Whitaker gazing at the cut right eye and going ahead with the left hand. Uppercut.
Big fight. Most boxers, when they get cut, they panic. This guy has a record of bleeding, so he's not going to panic. He thinks maybe next round I'll get him.
What it's done for the moment is to energize Paez, but Whitaker is responding with some of his most devastating punching of the fight.
That Whitaker can hit. Caution Paez, if you're going to go to him, throw punches. Don't just walk in without punching.
Larry, it's a pretty deep cut, and I think Paez's vision is being bothered.
The way he fights, it's really hard to say just how much of a hindrance it is.
Now, George, if you're in Whitaker's corner between rounds, do you tell him to focus on that right eye or forget about it?
Forget about the right eye. Keep going to the body. Keep building up your point system. Win this fight. Forget about the cut. The cut is not a gift. But I can tell you Paez has had enough.
Left to the body by Paez. Whitaker coming back straight ahead. Round 7 in.
Unintentional back, no. No.
You heard Mills Lane tell the corner of Paez that it was an unintentional butt. There is no deduction of a point for that.
Duro.
Hard. Go hard, right on top of it.
The last thing George Benton said to Pernell Whitaker was hard. Throw hard punches. Paez is cut, neatly cleaned up by cutman Chuck Bodak. Comes back to try to look to do some damage in round 8.
Whitaker has a cut also. So when you stay in close and try to exchange punches, you're going to be bruised and cut also.
Where do you think Whitaker's cut is, George?
It's on his right side of the right eye.
It's hard to say at this point until he gets closer to us whether that's just blood from Paez or an actual cut.
It's a cut.
Well, if Whitaker's cut, he also has one of the best cutmen in the business, Ace Murata, in his corner. Now Mills Lane is going to take a good look at Jorge Paez. And so is the doctor.
Whitaker just told me at ringside.
Okay, I'm going to go. All right. Time. Here we go. Come on.
The doctor and Mills Lane are going to let it go on.
And Whitaker, Jim, is not cut. He has some droplets of blood on him from Paez.
Well, this is a point in the fight at which Paez is very dangerous, George.
Boy, is he landing good left hooks in there.
Whitaker's got to be sure that he doesn't get butted as Paez comes charging in.
When you stay close, the cut is open up. I was almost certain he was cut.
Step back. I said, hey, come on. Come on.
By Paez at the end of a 4-punch combination by Whitaker.
Pernell Whitaker believes in his punching power, too, so he'll run only so far, and he'll stop and fight.
Here we go, come on.
Left hand landed by Paez, but these are desperation swings now.
But they hurt. Same place over and over.
And of course, it's hard for Pernell to get the distance to jab as Paez just comes charging in.
That's the way you got to fight Pernell Whitaker. You charge in and forget about your style.
Target practice for Whitaker now. Paez losing some of his snap. That right hand landed, though, and served only to anger Whitaker for the moment.
Every time Paez decided to throw a chopping right hand, he lands. Why he doesn't continue? Good left.
Paez raised on the streets. In the circus, he understands the hard ethic of life, and he understands the hard ethic of boxing. He doesn't quit. He wouldn't be here if he hadn't quit.
You need to pop your ears? Oh. You want to pop your ears? You want to pop your ears? Yeah. No. Give me a towel. Quick, give me a towel.
Harold, how do you score it to now?
Larry, 6-2, 78-74, Pernell Whitaker. I think that Pernell Whitaker is still in control of this fight. He keeps popping Jorge Paez as Paez comes rushing in with those good right jabs, good straight lefts, good combinations. I think he's got Jorge Paez pretty well under control.
How about you, Larry?
I have it 7-1, although a lot of the rounds are close. I think Whitaker is winning them.
Look,
Mills Lane calling time. Paez appeared.
Come on.
Paez appeared weary for the moment. Whitaker almost asked Mills Lane to look at him.
Gentlemen.
He is a gentleman.
Yeah,
a real
some guys that still got back away would go right after you.
Left hand by Paez. Ooh, that was a good one.
He was hurt. Also should be noted that Whitaker can take a good shot. Not only can he give one, he can take a punch.
Whitaker becoming much more economical now, George, throwing fewer punches and seeming to target the eye. I'm not sure that'll play in his favor.
Never should concentrate on the cut. But he's keeping that distance like he was supposed to do earlier when he's not throwing punches on the move.
But he's allowed himself to get cornered here by Paez, almost inadvertently.
But Paez is concerned about his eyes now. So when he corners him, he thinks first about safety.
Here we go.
We're in round 9 at the Civic Center in Reno, Nevada, where Pernell Whitaker is defending his undisputed lightweight championship against Jorge Paez. And Paez, characteristic of his big-time career, has a major league cut on his right eyelid. That has become the central focus of the fight. Paez landing a right hand in the middle of the ring, and now another right.
Whitaker said he wanted to throw combinations this time, and he's done so. A lot better than the last fight. Punches and bunches.
Pernell with a little wrestling act against the ring ropes. And now Paez goes back to stalking. Left hand leaping by Paez. Throughout the bout, the most effective blow for Whitaker has been the uppercut, both the right and the left hand. He hasn't used it much in the last 2 rounds.
He's got Paez concerned about his body along with the hurt eyes. Now he's throwing combinations to the body and the head. Beforehand, he was throwing 3 punches. Paez would hit him afterwards. This time, he's throwing 3.
Half-hour special, which will preview the upcoming heavyweight championship fight. I will be there along with Larry Merchant and George Foreman as the 3 of us look at all the issues surrounding that much-anticipated and highly controversial fight, premiering Monday, October 21, right here on HBO. Let's go to Jorge Paez's corner.
Go 4 on top, then go to the body. More pressure. More pressure and work. Go to work. Move. Make your moves and then throw punches. Don't think, just throw punches.
Round 10 begins. They trade punches at close quarters in the center of the ring.
Paez, just like his corner said, you can't concern yourself about winning points. You're going to have to get a knockout. You fight for the for the championship of the world. You go out there and you let everything hang out. If you fall to the canvas, your managers, they'll come and pick you up. Go for a knockout.
Well, when Jorge Paez first won the featherweight championship of the world against Calvin Grove down in Mexicali, he trailed throughout the entire bout, seemingly out of it in points. And then in the 15th and final round, he put Grove on the canvas 3 times to rally dramatically and win the fight. The lesson is you don't ever count this guy out.
That's right. And this is the time he should be searching for a knockout. Not waiting. There's no more 15 rounds, you know. Go for the knockout. Forget about winning this fight by points. You're behind. Go for the knockout.
They do a great job on Paez's cut eyelid between rounds. And then about midway through each round, the blood begins to flow. Here it comes again. Whitaker remembering to go to the body, and then a devastating left hand right into the eye. And again.
thing about Whitaker, you sit to hit him and he moves in another direction. Hard to get a solid punch off on him. Early on, Whitaker was circling him. Now you notice Whitaker's standing fast. He's not moving backwards or side to side. Like I control the fight. That's hard for a boxer to establish that I own the middle of this ring.
Pernell Whitaker, 27 years old. He put together his professional career. This is the 28th fight. And an amateur career with more than 250 of them. There's very little he hasn't seen in the ring. Jorge Paez, by contrast, had only 3 amateur fights.
With Paez, you should just play soft for a second, let the guy relax, and then come on top and get it.
Now Paez's vision is again affected by the blood flowing down from the eyelid. What do you do when you're a one-eyed fighter, George?
You cry for help. You know, when one eye is hurt, you just got to forget about being orthodox. You got to charge in there and get the other guy with one eye also. You just can't sit back and decide my corner's going to help you.
What about the vision problem? He's clearly having trouble seeing out of that eye now.
The thing about boxing, my manager told me earlier when I complained about a scar. In this business, you'll have them everywhere. You just got to keep fighting.
And Jorge Paez keeps fighting at the end of round 10, but more and more, it's an uphill battle.
Yeah, no.
Another button.
I cover it, I cover it.
See, there's another head button. Mel, it's another head button.
You got the heads in there, but it's not intention. I call it, okay?
Okay.
Hey, who's got to check any more tape to take this up?
Hello. Don't run from him. I want you right back there. Just make a little circle. You understand? Close, tight circle. But you be fine. When you make him miss, make him pay. You understand? Okay, here we go.
Pernell Whitaker's problem as a lightweight is that there really hasn't been a second best lightweight out there to challenge him. Paez is a reasonable facsimile of such a fighter.
And still, Pernell may be headed toward the kind of lopsided decision that leaves fight fans mildly dissatisfied.
His manager told him earlier about a tight circle. You circle him, but you don't get too far away from him. You stay tight, but you circle. Always within arm's length.
This is a favorite theory of trainer George Benton.
Tight circle.
For both Pernell and Melzer Taylor, they call it fighting in the zone. And I guess a big part of the theory, George, is not to get stuck on the rope.
The whole idea is to be within arm's length. If the guy can hit you, you can duck, you can do anything. But if you get away from him, you give him a lot of courage and catch you on the end of those punches.
A left and a right landed inside for Paez, who shows buckets of courage. Whitaker again pinpoints the eye with a left hand and another.
The thing about Whitaker, he's not even breathing hard.
Now he's in sensational condition. Of course, he stayed busy.
Yeah, when you're active, an active fighter is always a good, well-conditioned fighter. It's like walking down the street.
We had him July 27 in Norfolk, Virginia, 69 days ago.
He seemed to be
champion. Excuse me, for an undisputed champion, that's a very short period of time between fights.
Whitaker seems to be anticipating the punches, the whereabouts of the punches landing, and he has his defense set, preset.
Whitaker almost landed a home run punch there with the left hand.
Can't get you relaxed. Paez can still knock you out.
Well, I think Pernell has shown a capacity to be careful while still being aggressive in these last few rounds.
Boy. Paez is trying to relax him a little bit so he can get home a good shot. Helps him, plays with it, and then maybe I can get home.
Whitaker with a little clowning. Almost stepped over the top of Paez's head, and Mills Lane doesn't like it, and he wants a point deducted from Pernell Whitaker.
He's warned him time and time out since the fight started about this stuff.
Well, Larry Merchant told you before the fight about the incident 4 years ago when Whitaker pulled down Roger Mayweather's shorts. And tonight he has decided on a few occasions to out-clown the clown.
I don't know where I was when all that was happening, but I haven't seen much clowning around. He just sort of stepped over Paez in an awkward, when they were both in an awkward position. I don't know why it merited a deduction, but perhaps the replay will show it to us. Well, let's see what happens here.
He actually tries to put him on between his legs, put his head between his legs.
Okay.
Well, I think you have to go back to rounds 1 and 2 when he twice was warned by Lane for holding Paez down with his arm on the back of Paez's neck.
He's hard. He's really tired. Go get him. Do not rest. He's tired.
He's first on top of him, you understand? All right.
Pernell Whitaker describes himself as a 12-round fighter. And here he is again.
I have a question to throw out to you guys. Do you think that off of this fight, in fighting in this kind of stand-up economical style, that Whitaker is giving Julio Cesar Chavez anything to worry about?
Believe me, he can whip him.
You think he can beat Chavez?
No doubt in my mind. I see he can take a punch and he can last. His only problem is he gets too careless in the last round.
Okay, a point deduction now from Paez.
Can't turn your back on a boxer.
And that deduction was for holding and hitting, the same crime for which Whitaker was penalized 1 round ago.
Paez is saying, listen, you're not going to treat me like that.
About your question, Larry, I'm not so sure that Whitaker wouldn't play into Chavez's hands by fighting this style against Chavez. He'd be fighting Julio Cesar Chavez's fight. And now let's continue with the 12th round of Paez-Whitaker here. A minute and a half to go. And Jorge Paez has hung in with the cut eye through 6 rounds of damage now.
Not only did he hang in there, he put on a good show.
And Mills Lane is going to call timeout. They're going to trim the tape on Paez's glove, and that's going to be a break for the challenger, who appeared thoroughly wasted at that moment. And now Paez has got a minute left to see if with whatever energy he has conserved, he can mount a final assault against the champion. Wilder and Wilder. Paez holding and hitting again and getting away with it. A final burst of energy. There will be no knockout. Well, it's clear that Jorge Paez has lost none of his fans. Harold, did he lose the fight?
Well, Jim, I think he lost the fight. I got an 8-2, 2 even, including the 2 points that Newsline deducted. Favorite Pernell Whitaker, 116, 110. I thought Pernell was just too accurate. Jorge did what he had to do by getting inside, but when he did get inside, Pernell either tied him up effectively or belted him with a good straight left hand. So Pernell was landing the cleaner, sharper shot. Certainly, I thought he won the fight.
And as Pernell Whitaker celebrates on one side of the ring and Jorge Paez does likewise in the other corner, finally the two fighters come together. And another moment. George, what did you think?
Fine fight. When you consider Paez, he did everything he could do. This guy's a tremendous fighter.
He showed valor, that's for sure. Let's take a look at the total punch stat numbers in the fight. Now, midway in the fight, Whitaker had doubled Paez in terms of punches thrown. There's still a large margin at the end. You can see that Pernell Whitaker was judged by our punch stat top computers to have thrown 411 more punches than Paez, and he landed at a higher rate as well. And right now, we go up to ring announcer Michael Buffer for the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, we go to the scorecard. Keith McDonald scores about 116 to 110. Patricia Jarman scores it 115 to 112. Chuck Joppa scores it 115 to 111 for the winner by unanimous decision. And still, undisputed, lightweight champion of the world, Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker.
Another victory for Sweet Pea, albeit a little bit more exciting than some of its predecessors. They wanted entertainment, and they got it tonight. And let's go to Larry Merchant with the champion.
Congratulations.